Today we're breaking down whether the new I Know What You Did Last Summer was exactly what we needed from a requel or if we should have left it in the 90s. How's that for a hook?
In an overcrowded graveyard, the scream will rise. Ghoulmates Entertainment presents Not Another Spooky Podcast.
Welcome back to Not Another Spooky Podcast, where we watch horror movies and talk about all the spooky things they make us think about. Think of it as spooky in the front,
horror in the back.
I'm Mandy Spooks.
And I'm Rabbit Loves Horror. We're just two lifelong besties keeping the spook alive, one bloody popcorn bucket at a time.
Today we're grave digging into 90s nostalgia, and then we'll review I Know What You Did Last Summer, the requel apparently, in the second half of the episode. To set the vibe for today's episode, we're going to start off with a little game of Bone, Marry, Slash. Oh! Kind of a fun one, too.
It's interesting. It's an interesting choice of people.
I don't know. I was going to include new characters, but I was like, they're not memorable to me. And I don't know if we'll ever cover the original after this because we're kind of talking about both in a way. So we're going to go with the OG characters. We've got Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Jennifer Love Hewitt because Ryan Phillippe was such a jerk in the first one.
But can I just say that I also had a big crush on Ryan Phillippe? Like, way more than Freddie Prinze Jr. I preferred Ryan Phillippe. Oh my
gosh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Okay, I'll have a bonus round for you after.
Okay, so, dang, this is hard because I really like all of these actors, actresses for different reasons.
That's why I did it to you.
So I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't know. Okay. So I guess Slash, who am I going to kill first? Dang, I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I'm going to Slash, and I'm sorry, Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I'm very sorry because I rewatched the original and she was so cute when she was younger. I'm like, oh, she's just like a little cute girl. But I never really kept up with her after this movie, so I'm like, okay, fine, you'll have to go. Bone, Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean, she's Daphne. She's cool. She just seems like a really cool girl. And I guess I'll marry Freddie Prinze Jr. He was really good looking when he was younger. Like, those eyebrows, I'm like, dang, those are bushy eyebrows. But they look so good. And yeah, I mean, I feel like he is a pretty handsome man now. So I'll just go ahead and marry Freddie Prinze Jr. What about you?
Okay, so I will Slash Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's cool, but never, I don't know, nothing draws me to her, really. Maybe I'll change my mind with the, Buffy reboot or something.
Oh.
The other two are hard because it's funny. Rabbit last week was like, I know you love JLH. And I was like, how do you know that? And he's like, because you used to love Ghost Whisperer. I was like, what the heck? That is such a deep cut. Like, I don't even remember the show anymore. And that's such a random thing for you to remember. But I've kind of followed her throughout my life. Like, I love the client list. Like, I feel like she bloomed. Like, I really, I think I had a girl crush on her as she, got older. Not so much when she was younger. So it's tough. And also with Freddie Prinze Jr., I never had a crush on him. And
Really?
Now, you know why the crush started, though? Because Monica, our follower, our Ghoulster, she told me about his podcast, That's So Scary podcast.
Yeah.
So I started listening to it, and his voice is so deep in a podcast mic. I was like, hello, sir. And then he really loves horror, and he talks about filmmaking. And I'm like, oh my God, he's the whole package for me right now. So
True.
I'm very conflicted because he has aged very well. He has the same Steve Carell effect, I feel, for me.
Yeah.
Dang, I guess since I got so excited, I'm going to marry Freddie Prinze.
Yeah, that sounds like a marry to me.
Yeah, especially with the interests. And then Jennifer is also a spooky girl, though. She got a Halloween tattoo.
Oh, she did? What?
Yeah. So there's an artist called Spooky Shake Studios. I don't know if you've seen him. He does like Halloween art. And she actually like got one of his little art things as a sticker. I mean, as a tattoo. And I think it might be like a little pumpkin guy that's holding a coffee. I don't remember.
Aw.
But yeah, so she's an actual Halloween girly.
Oh, now I feel
So
bad. I'm
I know,
sorry. I'm
right?
sorry I
I
killed
guess
you.
yeah, that's tough. I will bone her because at least we could have like a nice little fun ghouls night out or
Yeah, you have a
something.
great night with her for sure. One night of fun.
Yeah. And then marry Mr. Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I agree.
All right. Let's get into some
haunted housekeeping.
All right, Ghosters, I don't have much, but I did want to put Rabbit on the spot and say thank you so much to him because he has really just like taken our TikTok and our social media so serious for the podcast. We went from like 2 views on our TikToks to like having actual TikToks on their way to being like legit viral. So thank you so much, Rabbit, for just taking control of that situation and being like, I'm gonna fix this and I'm gonna do it, and taking that off my plate because I love to take on too much.
Yes, true. No, I was glad to take something over. But yeah, I've been posting like nonstop daily for the past couple of weeks on the Not Another Spooky Podcast TikTok. And it's at least 1, but I'm trying to do 2 a day. So if you on TikTok, definitely follow us and join us in the conversation there. But yeah, 2 of our videos are getting really popular. One of them is already over 80,000 views. And it's kind of funny to see because people are kind of bullying me in the comments. Yeah. Which is fine. I'm not offended by it. I think it's kind of funny. And then your video that's going kind of a little viral or getting a ton of views is your Courtney Cox rule. And I really like that. That really resonated with a lot of people because the comments are just of people just agreeing with you and then naming different actors and actresses that pretty much play themselves. So it's been fun to see all of the people engaging, kind of agreeing with you, and then adding their own their own comments and making fun of bad actors. So it's been a fun time for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like it's been really fun for me because I'm very PC, right? I'm very filtered. Everybody knows that. But I feel like having Rabbit, I have this like protective mama bear in me because the people like saying negative things to him, I'm like kind of having fun going in and like shading them. Like somebody put something that was intentionally offensive and I was like, LOL, what? Like,
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of like embracing my sassiness in the comments of TikTok. So maybe that will give you guys incentive to go look at our TikToks and read the comments.
For sure. No, yeah, I do thank you for sticking up for me in the comments. But I think I have thick skin. I mean, I'm a ginger. I grew up getting bullied, getting teased for my hair, my freckles. So it's nothing new to me. So it doesn't really affect me, really. It just kind of makes me laugh.
I love that because I probably will not handle it the same way. All right, let's get into our new segment, the Scream Sheet, our weekly breakdown of what has us shrieking with excitement. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So, literally a couple of minutes ago, or maybe a couple hours ago, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie trailer was released, which premieres on December 5th, which is really exciting. I'm not the hugest Five Nights at Freddy's fan, but I do like the game, and I did enjoy the movie. But this new trailer has a ton of Easter eggs from a lot of the side characters. So it starts with kind of like some plushies that they show, and it's all characters from the actual game. So if you're a fan, you'll probably be like super excited to see all the characters that they might include. And the most exciting part of this is that it's confirmed that Skeet Ulrich is going to be in part 2. So the original killers from Scream are going to be the killers in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is crazy to see. I think it's so cool.
That is really cool. I did not know that, and I also did not catch the trailer, so I'm excited to see it. I think I might have mentioned this in like maybe my last episode of the original Not Another Spooky podcast. But I went to go see the first one at Blumfest last year
Oh yeah.
at AMC. They show like every year Blumhouse does a series of their movies that they bring back into theaters for like every week in October. I had so much fun doing that last year. I'll probably do it again. I went to every movie, and every movie was like, some of them were empty, some of them were like kind of full. It's funny because somebody walked out of Insidious. I was
Really?
like, if I could stay, come on. But it was crazy. Five Nights at Freddy's was packed, like
Yeah,
sold out, and everyone stood up, gave it a round of applause. Like it was crazy, and I had not realized that it was because it was the first theatrical release. So it was wild. It was like Eras Tour Swifties at AMC level. I was shocked by it. So I kind of want to play the game before I see the second one
for
this
sure.
year.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy fans, do not play with them. They go hard for their Five Nights at Freddy's, and I kind of like it. I
Did
wish
they
I could
like the
become one
first
of them.
movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They
They did.
did. I
Hmm.
I just felt like it wasn't gory or like scary enough.
Yeah, I think that was my main thing, was that I didn't get scared enough, but watching the trailer for part two kind of gave me what I wanted from the first one. So I don't know if you ever played the games before, but you're kind of static in one position and you're just in charge of the doors and the lights to make sure you don't get attacked
Ooh.
by an animatronic. And if you don't keep up, then they kind of like rush through, or their big head pokes out, and like that's like the jump scare. And it has that in part two. So I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to see from the movie. So I'm really excited for part two.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think I really do want to play. I've been doing live streaming on my channel, and I'm going to be introducing gaming soon. Finally, how long has it been? It has been like 4 years, or I don't even know how long that I've been wanting to do this. Finally learned how to stream like a little streamer. So maybe we'll play that as we get closer to the movie release. That would be
Ooh, that
fun.
sounds
Or we
fun.
could figure, is it multiplayer?
No, it's single player.
Oh,
Or
dang
at
it. I
least,
was
I don't know. I
like,
haven't played all of
maybe you
them.
could
There's
join me.
several games, but I know the original and the one that I've played, Security Breach, they're all single player games.
Oh, dang. All right. Well, we'll figure something out so you can join me gaming one day. All right. For my news, you guys are going crazy over Wednesday. I was not anticipating it. I was trying to make Wednesday cool since like the first dates were announced and nobody was vibing yet. And I felt very let down. I was like, am I the only one who's excited for Wednesday? Did the hype die? And then this week, everyone started sending me all the updates. I was like, okay, it's back. I'm not the only loser that likes Wednesdays. So the biggest news, though, is that Wendy's is going to have a collaboration with Wednesday, and it's going to be called The Meal of Misfortune. And I really already love the vibe of it. The packet, like the Happy Meal bag, I guess. I don't know if it's called
Right.
Kids Meal.
The
Kids
kids meal.
Meals is what they're called. I'm like, that's McDonald's. The kids meal at Wendy's is going to be called the Unhappy Meal. I mean, it's called the Meal of Misfortune, but the bag says there's nothing happy about this meal. And then it has so many things in it, I feel. So it's going to have a spoon of gloom, and it's like it's a purple spoon, and it has a tombstone on it, or like, yeah, it kind of looks like a tombstone with like a skull and a raven on it, maybe. And it's a dark cherry swirl ice cream. I don't think that's part of the meal. I don't know. I should have done my research. I'm sorry. But that's one of the options they're offering. And then the meal is going to come with cursed and crispy fries. And the packaging is like their uniform. And then it's going to have, I love a good pun, rest in 10-piece nuggets.
I love it.
And then it has the dips of dread, and there's 4 of them. So the first one's called You Can't Hide, like the hide, you know. This Will Sting, Grave Mistake, and Nowhere to Woe. So I'm super excited about this. I've been on a Healthy for Halloween journey on my channel, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to show this. And I was like, no, it's about being real. So I think I haven't had fast food in 2 or 3 weeks, I think. And by the time this comes out, it'll have been a month. So I'm like, that's a great way to celebrate portion control and stuff with a kid's meal. So I'm super excited. And then the logo is really cute too. They redid the Wendy's sign, and they made it purple and they put Wednesday inside of it instead of Wendy. That's so
That's so
clever.
cute. Yeah, because they're very identical. They're just different colors.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I think I saw TikToks that maybe last year one of the Wendy's in California had actually transformed. So you're going to have to go visit Wednesdays for me.
The Wednesdays. I know. I always see that they transform things. Like the Jurassic Park thing was there, and then I know what you did last summer. Like food trucks were around, and I always like, okay, I'll go to the next one. I'll go to the next one. But I always put it off just because if you're not from Southern California, everything is so spread out. Not spread out, but getting anywhere takes a long time. So even though it looks like it's close by, you have to plan for traffic. So if I wanted to go to like Los Angeles to get the I Know What You Did Last Summer food truck, it would probably take me like an hour to get there. And so I'm like, is it really worth going? But part of me was like, I should have gone because
You should have.
just to be part. I don't know, something that kind of like iconic. So maybe I'll pressure myself to go to one of these soon. So
Yeah, I don't have. Well, it's coming out August 4th, the meal, which is 2 days before season 2 drops. So we'll have to do research to find out where this Wednesday's location is and what days it'll be open. Because it kind of seems like they should just leave it open for spooky season at this point. But
might as well.
yeah, we'll see. I'm super excited about it. I'm excited to see what other collabs we get. There's also a NYX Cosmetics collab with Wednesday.
Yes.
I also want to shout out Weaselware because they have a super cool stained glass bag that looks like the window from the Wednesday show. So it's really cool to see different brands pick up on the trend and like do their own thing with it.
Yeah, for sure. I like the bag. I like that it's half the roomy, like super colorful, and the half was just black, like Wednesday. So
Yes.
I did like that they included that little nod to the show.
Yeah, for sure. So we shall see. All right, Goldsters, it's time for our favorite chat of the week, Keeping the Spook Alive.
It's alive! It's alive!
All right, Rabbit, how are you keeping the spook alive?
Okay, so this week we went to another spooky market. There's a really popular one. It's like the traveling spooky market in the area. It's called October Village. So we went again. And I bought some really cool ears. I don't have them available like right next to me, but they're behind me. But if you follow me on socials, I already made a TikTok about it. It's a headband where it's Goofy dressed as Ghostface. And it glows in the dark. That was like the coolest thing. Like the man had like a flashlight, the glow in the dark light, black light, I guess you could say. And we were like looking at all the different designs because they have a ton. And he like flashed it on that one. I was like, oh my God, I need it. Like, how much is it? Like put it in my bag now. So it was like an immediate purchase once he shined that light on the headbands. And I also wanted to shout out the small shop that actually created the headband, which is Le Bonite by Beatrice. And that's her Instagram handle. So if you want to buy your own, definitely go check her out because she makes a ton of characters. So it's not just Disney Halloween, it's a bunch of different spooky characters. So I was very happy that I found that. And then another thing, the whole craze right now is Labubus. But I did find another blind box series that are kind of like gothic or like spooky kind of blind boxes. And I did do an unboxing TikTok and posted that already. And it's just a bunch of spooky characters. So I already opened the first one, which was the rabbit, which I wanted. But then I ordered a second one that we can open up right now. So I have it right here. So I'm going to open it and see what we get.
Show us the like spooky details on the packaging.
Okay, so I bought two, so I wanted to unbox or open one here on the podcast. So let's see what we get. So here it is. It's called May May, and the line is called Dark Forest because they're all kind of from the forest and spooky characters. So here we go. And oh my God, look.
I can't see what color it is. Is it another rabbit?
No. Oh, why is it not? Let me turn down the light a little bit.
Is it the
It's-
purple one?
It's the purple vampire.
Shut up. Oh my god.
Okay, so I did know what was in here. I lied to you before. So this is for you.
Oh my god.
So when I placed my order, I bought 2 and I was like, oh, if only we can get the rabbit
The 2.
and the vampire, because those are kind of like our characters, I guess you can say. And I got them and I'm like, oh my god, it's actually them. And it's so cute. Like they have like wings. So it's like a lavender vampire bat. So it has like bat wings, bat eyes, and little bat nose. You can't really see.
Wait, I'm gonna be picky. You gotta lower the lighting because I want to see it. It's like coming out all bright and blurry. There we go. Oh
Is that
my
better?
gosh. Yes. Let me see the wing.
And the wing.
That is so cute.
Isn't it perfect? So this is yours. Oh, and look at his little leg. Has like a little bandage on it. Isn't it cute?
Like
his
my
hair.
broken ankle. Oh my god. That is so cute. I'm dying right now. That is so cute. Thank you. Oh my god.
You're welcome. So I have to mail it to you, so you can have it because it is adorable. And these things are huge. Like compared to Labubu's, this like dwarfs the Labubus. So yeah, if you like spooky things, definitely try these out instead of a Labubu, because Labubus are so hard to get right now.
Okay, so these are like a new trend coming up.
No, I think these have been around for a while also, and it's a
What are
different
they
company.
called? Maymays?
Yeah, Maymays, I think.
Okay.
I just found out about them recently, but they're a different company from who make Labubu, so it's not Pop Mart that sells these. It's a different company.
Got it.
So it's a different line, totally different from Labubu's, not as popular as Labubu. So if you want a plush,
Now is the time to get it
Now's the
before
time
it
to
gets
get it, 'cause
popular
they're so
because
fun.
our TikTok's popping off. So
yeah, for sure.
it was
But
funny.
yeah.
I also saw, I don't know if you saw on your TikTok that you did the first unboxing. Someone was like, go get them at this place. Like they were spamming your comments, like promoting themselves. So I responded and I was like, give him an affiliate link. Like, don't be using his content.
Right? Yeah, give me a discount. I'll buy all of them because they're all so cute. The designs that they have, they're very goth, very spooky. So I really kind of want to collect them all.
Yeah,
But I don't
they're
know if I want to
super
spend
cute.
that much money.
It's crazy that you got lucky. You really like just got lucky with the 2.
I did. I don't know. I guess the gods were like, you know what? You deserve a reward.
Yes,
We'll give
good
you the
karma
2
for
you
being,
want.
yes, for being such a good little rabbit.
For sure. But yeah, that's how I kept the spook alive this week. What about you?
Well, I have been creating the spook behind the scenes. We are deep into production with our first horror short film, Bad Boy. So we have like our entire production schedule set already, and where me and Mr. Spooks are working on like blocking out all the scenes and prepping for the shoots, which has been very exciting but very stressful at the same time. So I've been trying very hard to manage my stress levels. So I've talked a lot about this on my YouTube channel. So I kind of like to remind you guys that I have a YouTube channel, but also that like I have a variety of content on there, because you never know what might resonate with someone. So I started a Healthy for Halloween journey, and on there I've talked a lot about how ever since I stopped working, I've really been able to understand my stress cues and like my body in a way that I never did before. And so I've been hyper aware of how stressed I've been this past week. So I've been trying really hard to manage that. So that's why I'm drinking my spearmint tea right now, because it has helped me a lot with like cravings and stuff. And so I've been combating it with like trying to incorporate cozy things again. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had a cozy era as a creator, and I'm leaning back into that now because I'm like, okay, I need to slow down a little. And so I did like a Color With Me live stream and just like doing things that help me slow down, like force me to slow down a little bit. And I'm also reading Camp Sylvania for our Spookworm Club. So just really doing a lot of like the cozy things that kind of bring all those stress levels down from filmmaking, because we love it and we're passionate about it, but I also don't want to go back to how stressed I was in the past.
Yeah, for sure. you've been kind of taking me along the ride with you producing this short film, and I don't know how you're doing it. I'm like stressed out just reading the emails that you're going through, and I'm like, I wouldn't even know what to do. I'd quit. So I applaud you for keeping on going, because yeah, it's definitely a lot to get everybody's schedules together, have everybody coordinated. Yeah, so applause to you.
Yeah. Little do you know, you're going to be doing this for us one day. This is just training for you. No, but it's going to get easier. I think it's just like we did our fan fiction one, and we learned a lot that round. And then this one's just like way bigger. Like it involves more characters and it's way longer. And so I didn't anticipate a lot of this. Part of me also feels like I didn't give myself enough planning time, but at the same time, it's just like there's never going to be a perfect time to do anything, so I just have to do it. So yeah, but no, I'm excited. The way I see it is like everything's booked for August, so I'm like, okay, August is going to be the craziest month of my life, probably in like all the best ways, though, and then we'll be able to enjoy spooky season, which I'm super excited about. So. All right, Ghoulsters, sharpen your pencils and fish hooks because Slash is officially in session. Did you know I Know What You Did Last Summer was inspired by an urban legend? Before Julie James got the cryptic note in the mail, and long before we were all screaming, "What are you waiting for?" into the void, I Know What You Did Last Summer was already hooked into a deeper fear, one that's been whispered around campfires for decades. I'm sorry, my haunted line voice is coming out in this, so you're going to have to write it. Let's talk about the Hookman urban legend that inspired I Know What You Did Last Summer. The story goes something like this. A teenage couple is parked at Lover's Lane when breaking news comes on the radio. An escaped killer is on the loose. He's armed, he's dangerous, and he has a hook for a hand. Oh man, I should have brought my hook. I have a hook. Trusting her gut, the girl wants to go home. The guy brushes it off, but eventually gives in and drives them away. Later that night, when they finally stop the car, sometimes the story says at home, sometimes at a gas station, something chilling happens. The boyfriend gets out, circles to the passenger side, and there, hanging from a car door, is a bloody metal hook. The killer had been there close enough to reach the door, maybe even close enough to grab her if they hadn't sped off just in time. This classic American urban legend is all about paranoia, morality, and barely escaping the consequences of your actions. Sound familiar? When Kevin Williamson, the same mastermind behind Scream, adapted I Know What You Did Last Summer, he didn't just borrow the hook, he borrowed the guilt, the secrets, and the idea that your past can come back for you, and it won't knock, it'll slash or hook. So no, it's not technically a true story, but it is the kind of tale that feels like it could happen to anyone. You mess up, you try to bury it, but secrets have a way of coming back with a vengeance and a slicker. Did you know that?
I knew it was based on an urban legend, but I didn't know this actual urban legend. So this was kind of new to me. Because I feel like the urban legend that when you were explaining this or reading this, I was thinking of the urban legend where the boyfriend goes out and he's like hanging and his feet are like tapping on the car door or something like that. Or the top of the car. So I'm not sure what urban legend that is, but that's what kind of it gave me. So I was like imagining that scene. So, so yeah, news to me.
Yeah, I did not know about that. I think that's from Urban Legend, right? The movie?
I think so. I think that's what I'm imagining.
I haven't seen that movie as an adult. Can you believe that?
I haven't seen it in years either.
Ooh, maybe we'll add it to season 3.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, so that brings me to today's spooky question of the day. So without giving spoilers, there was a scene in this movie that had me questioning like how I would actually react in a situation with a slasher. And then my mind wandered and I was like, that's going to be the question of the day. So my question is, would you rather be stuck in the Warren Museum with everything on the loose, no cages, nothing protecting you? Or would you rather be stuck in a house full of all the iconic slashers?
None. Neither. um, I'm gonna pick the house full of slashers only because what really scares me is paranormal things. That's what really gets under my skin and really freaks me out. So being locked in a house with different kind of demons and ghosts just out to get me or just to scare me, that's torture. Like that, you're just torturing me at that point. So I don't want to do that. So I feel like if I in the house full of slashers, maybe I can fight back, and if not, I'll just die right away. Like it could be the first one that dies, and then that'll be it. But I feel like if I were to go into the museum, I'm gonna be tortured all night, and yeah, I'll go crazy. What about you?
Yeah. I was waiting for you to say, at least if I'm in the house of slashers, maybe it'll be Ghostface that kills me.
But can I just say, Ghostface, like the mask, actually scares me. Like when I was little, I would be terrified of other people dressed as Ghostface just because that mask is so terrifying. And I will bring up one thing. When I was younger, we went trick-or-treating around our neighborhood, and I was dressed as Ghostface. And I was there with my cousins, and we went up to this one house, and it was a man dressed as Ghostface also, but he was much taller, and his mask was like skulls that built the Ghostface shape, and that terrified me. Like I literally screamed and I ran away from the house. I think we did go back because I was able to muster up some courage. But yeah, Ghostface mask scares me, but at least I'll die right away.
That's funny. I think they all do. If you have someone that's like actually trying to embody the character.
Yeah.
Because even Mr. Spooks, when he wears masks, I'm always like, get out of here. And then the more I stare at him, because he likes to stay silent when he wears masks, and it really does build up.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What was my question? Oh, what would I rather? Sorry,
Yes.
my bad. I was like already trying to move on to the next part of the script. Definitely slashers. I would literally probably like intentionally find my way to see myself off if I was stuck in the Warren house. Like, no, thank you. I just cannot handle that. Slashers, I'd be like, let's fucking go. I'm gonna fucking fight for this.
Okay, I want to be in a house full of slashers with you so you can protect me.
I don't know. It just seems like, so the scene in this movie, right, is we're going to talk about it. But for me, I'm like, I would not just give up like that. Like, I would freaking be like, I'm going to fight. And like, you are a physical being. I can punch you. I can kick you. I can bite you. I can stab you with things. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, if anything, Mandy Spooks has learned how to fight, right? Watching movies. But then I was like, but would I really though? Or would I really cave under pressure? I don't know. I would run if it was Ghost though. I'd be like, please just leave me alone.
Same here.
All right, Goldsters, it's time for the spoiler pack segment of the show. So if you don't want spoilers, this is your warning to turn back now and come hang out with us once you've seen the movie. What popped into theaters this week, Rabbit?
Alrighty, so this week, I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 popped into theaters this week. It has a current rating on Rotten Tomatoes with a popcorn meter at 69%, which is fair, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's not certified fresh. So if you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to go ahead and just give you a full summary and spoil the whole movie here. So when 5 friends inadvertently cause a deadly car accident, they cover up their involvement and make a pact to keep it a secret rather than face the consequences. A year later, their past comes back to haunt them, and they're forced to confront a horrifying truth. Someone knows what they did last summer. And they are hell-bent on revenge, as one by one, the friends are stalked by a killer. That you discover that this happened before, and they turn to 2 survivors of the legendary Southport Massacre of 1997 for help. in the end, we find out that there are actually two killers. The first killer revealed was Stevie, who later found out that the person they killed accidentally was someone that she was actually romantically involved with, and she plotted out this revenge. The second killer was a legacy character, Ray. Due to not dealing with his traumatic past, it manifested into resentment against the town and wanted to make sure it would never forget these events. So, it was directed by Jennifer Caden Robinson, and she also produced it, and she also wrote it. I think she did have some help here and there, but I thought it was really interesting that she was kind of the mastermind behind this whole movie, pretty much.
Yeah, especially after what I just said, I'm just like, God bless her.
I know. Y'all are crazy.
But
Okay,
at least
so
I have my goal mate. That's crazy. All right,
True,
sorry,
true,
continue.
Alrighty, so I'm going to get into the cast. So we have Danica Richards, which was played by Madeline Klein. Then we have Teddy Spencer, which was played by Tyrick Withers. And we have Ava Brooks, which was played by Chase Sweet Wanders. And Stevie Ward, played by Sarah Pigeon. And then, of course, our legacy characters were brought back. Helen Shivers, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Ray Bronson was played by Freddie Prinze Jr. And Julie James was played by Jennifer Love Hewitt. So, let's get into our...
I'm so sorry. I gotta interrupt you. I'm shocked and embarrassed right now. I thought that Ava was played by Camila Mendes. Not
Who's
Camila
Camila
Mendes. Is that her name? The girl from Riverdale.
Oh, I don't watch Riverdale.
No, hold on. I'm so shocked right now. Yeah, her name is Camila Mendes. Wow. She is like Camila Mendes' sister or something. That is
Really?
crazy.
I have to look her up. Interesting.
Yeah. That changes everything about my episode today.
Oh my gosh. You have to rethink everything now.
Yeah. Sorry. You may continue.
It's okay. Okay, so initial reactions. I'm conflicted. I don't know if I like this movie or not, but because I did have a couple of issues with it here and there, but overall, it was a fun watch. I did have fun watching it. Would I ever want to watch it again? Probably not. Like, I probably watched like clips if I wanted to remember something from it. But yeah, I probably wouldn't watch it again. Would I recommend it to people? Again, probably not, but only if they really like 90s slashers or if they really liked the original I Know What You Did Last Summers. But if you did not enjoy those movies or you don't like 90s slashers, then you're not going to like this movie. What about you?
I am going to interrupt with a question. So
Okay.
I know you rewatched the original after seeing the new one. Did you like the original?
Oh, God. Yes. But I did not like the killer reveal of the original. It didn't land for me because it was just a random guy in the end. It felt like I liked this one a little bit more because it was a killer within the friend group, where the original was someone out for revenge. And that's my only reason I didn't like the original.
Okay, so I rewatched the original before the new one, and I'm glad I did because I think I appreciated it a lot more. I too was very conflicted, but I will say that I feel like the original kind of bored me rewatching it after seeing it so many times. And I was even going to do like a bonus episode on my Spooky Soiree podcast, but I had like no desire to fangirl over it. And I was kind of like bummed about it. And that left me like not wanting to see this movie. Even like the trailer was so on the nose and corny. I was like, ugh, I'm like really dreading this. After seeing the original, I was really feeling that way. Seeing it like now going into it, I'm surprised. Like, I enjoyed it a lot more than I anticipated. I will say I think I liked it more than the original. I think it's a little more exciting. But I'm also conflicted. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. We'll see by the end of this episode.
I know. Maybe talking about it will kind of like clear our minds about this movie. But you know, it's funny that you rewatched the original right before you watched the new one, and I did it the reverse way. So we watched the new movie, and then like the next day we rewatched the original. And that was kind of cool because like, oh, now I get the reference. Now I get this scene. Now I know how they did this and that. Well, we'll get into it. But yeah, I thought it was funny that we kind of approached this movie differently in different mindsets, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get in the tone and the atmosphere. So when I was watching this movie, I really felt like I was transported to the 90s or like the early 2000s and just watching a slasher movie. It gave me that feeling of nostalgia and like a mix of like who done it, like who's the killer, can you figure it out? The kill scenes were kind of fun, even though most of them were off screen. I felt only some of them here and there were showing some gore, I guess you can say. But yeah, the kills weren't anything amazing, and nothing's really sticking out to me right now. But yeah, it was a fun slasher movie. What about you?
I agree. It had a lot more nostalgia than I expected it to, which ironically, they have a whole conversation about nostalgia in the movie, which we're going to talk about. But I just felt like I appreciated it because it felt so similar to the first one, but they did adapt it so well to 2025 that it gave me like the nostalgia I love with the pacing that I love of modern movies. So for me, it was like just the right tone and atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that. So next we'll get into the direction and cinematography. So for me, nothing really stuck out to me. I really have no notes about the direction or the cinematography. I think my main issues are in the writing and the pacing, but we'll get into that later. But did you have any insights into direction and cinematography?
Yes. So overall, as soon as the movie started, I was like, okay, this is like a much less comical, campy commentary on Gen Z, I feel, because we've covered Hell of a Summer and Until Dawn, and we've talked a lot about how differently Gen Z is represented versus how millennials were represented on screen. And I felt like this was the first film we've seen where they didn't turn Gen Z into like comedy pieces, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like every Gen Z thing I've seen, even written by Gen Z, is this like character of Gen Z that is just like, I don't know how to explain it. It never like lands just right for me. And this one felt more real, more realistic. Like maybe because they were more grown up too. They weren't playing like teenagers.
High schoolers.
So I really liked how they took that approach of like adapting. They really, really did take the original movie and they're like, how would this play out if it happened in 2025? They adapted like the lifestyles, how the city would have evolved. I thought that they did a really good job with that. And the one scene cinematography wise that stuck out to me was Sarah Michelle Gellar's little cameo. As soon as she came out, I was like, I knew it. I knew we were going to get a cameo from her. I was like, it's going to be like a ghost or a flashback or something. So it was a nightmare. And I found it so interesting how they worked to preserve her look from the original movie.
Yeah.
So like you see Julie and Ray have obviously aged, but for her, which by the way, though, I will say I went to go look at pictures of her to see like how differently she looked, and she looks amazingly well for her age. Like she really does look that good, but they used a ton of lighting and they didn't do close-ups on her so that it would be easier to hide her age. So like the whole first part of that sequence is like a medium to wide shot with tons of lighting, and I'm sure they used a lot of soft lighting to get that effect, and they almost made her look like angelic so that you could tell she was like a ghost in this nightmare. Even when they did do like those medium shots, because they weren't real close-ups, but they were close up enough that you could see more of the details, they did a really good job of still using a lot of lighting. Like if you looked at it, it felt very like pageant show like,
For
still
sure.
like her original. So I was like, okay, they did really well with this scene of like preserving her original image, making sure she looked like she hadn't aged the way the other characters had. So that part was cool. And also I just have to add in that her name is iconic. Helen
It
Shivers.
is.
Like
Helen
it's just such a good
Shivers.
name.
It is such a cool name. I'm so jealous that she has such a cool name like that. But yeah, actually, I will jump in and kind of agree with you on the direction part, because I get what you're saying. I feel like Hell of a Summer and Clown in a Cornfield have Gen Z as like caricatures. Like, oh, this is the way people view Gen Zs. Like they're dumb and young and don't know what they're talking about. But this one definitely still had kind of like that young flair to the characters, like the way they would talk. But they were also a little bit more mature, I guess you can say,
Yes.
than those other movies. So yeah, I did like that. And I also really liked that they were in, I don't know, college. They were in college or they were going to college or something like that. And they weren't high schoolers. Like, I'm like, can we get over the high schoolers? High schoolers aren't this advanced. Like, we were not this advanced when we were in high school. We were all so stupid. So I like that they took it where it was picking up from after high school in college or like in their 20s. So I did like that.
Agreed.
Okay, so writing and pacing. So this is where I have my most critiques about this movie. I think the writing in this movie was kind of bad in some parts. The dialogue was really bad in some scenes. Like in the beginning, when they first see Stevie again, they're like, oh, it's Stevie. They had so much exposition in that like 1 or 2 lines that they said. Like, oh, is that our old friend that we used to hang out with that went to rehab? And it just like felt so unnatural in a way where they were trying to force so much lore into a few sentences so we can keep up and kind of like know the backstory of why she's not friends with them anymore. And I don't know, I just felt like that was too much exposition. And I brought that up before in other movies. Like, don't bring so much exposition in. Like, let us figure it out as we go through the movie. You don't have to tell us everything all in one spot. You can spread out the rehab thing, I don't know, in a different conversation later on in the movie. So I think that was my biggest thing, is like, why do you have so much exposition? Just let us figure it out.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about was, I feel like they took a ton of inspiration from Scream 5, where this movie is a sequel, but also a reboot. And in Scream 5, they kind of explain what that is. It's a requel. But yeah, after we watched the new movie, we came back and watched the original, and I saw how they kind of like, yeah, it was a reboot. They just reused some of the scenes, and some of it was almost like scene by scene. Like when the podcaster was getting killed, I was like, oh, they're just redoing the whole Helen Shivers part. So I thought that was cool. Like, I'm not saying that's bad. I really like that they did that and kind of like reimagined those kill scenes. And I like that they had a ton of meta references, very similar to Scream 5, kind of poking fun at pop culture, but also poking fun at themselves. The one quote that was stuck out to me, I'm like, what is happening right now? Was when when they actually accidentally kill the person. They're out watching the fireworks in this cliff, and Teddy is out on the street, kind of like, I don't know, being an idiot, standing in front of the street, in front of traffic. There's no cars, but he's just standing in the middle of the street. And he kind of like jokes and says, we come here for magic, which is, we keep poking fun at AMC, the AMC Nicole Kidman bit. So that was funny. And then at the end of the movie, of course, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Julie James, has his her iconic line, what are you doing here? Or like, what are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? And she screams it out. And yeah, so I really like that they had those like little callbacks, and like poked fun and had some like humor in it.
Yeah, I agree. I cackled at the the freaking AMC quote, because at first I was like, wait, are they making fun of AMC? And then she says like something about Nicole Kidman. I was like, wow, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I really love that. And then another line I really liked was like, this is all feeling very Scooby-Doo right now. I was like, I love how self-aware the film was, but the execution was done very well. So I also have some critiques on the writing. I feel like in general, the movie just tried to do too much. And I think that's kind of where it like fell apart for me, because first of all, I think that I was personally offended by this film with the true crime podcaster, because look, I understand that like that comical part was needed, but because what I just said of how well Gen Z was represented, like in such a respectful, different take on it, the podcaster was almost like the comedy of the movie.
Yeah.
And I also didn't think it was like super, like some of it was very realistic. Like I was like, we talked about this before even filming, how like she slaps her logo sticker on a location, and like a lot of it was very like, oh my God, that's me. But at the same time, she's this true crime podcaster that when faced with a real situation, she completely like chickens out. And like for a second, I was like, okay, that's Mandy, because everyone's like, what do you mean you don't like ghost stories and stuff? But also I'm like, okay, we've learned a few things in horror movies about how to handle these situations and stuff. And so I was just like, why do we have to make a joke out of her though? Like if Gen Z didn't have to be made a joke out of. So I was personally offended by this movie. But that aside, I felt like that part of the movie was kind of just like thrown in to make it relevant for 2025. And then they abandoned it as soon as she was killed. Like for me, that was a huge plot hole, because like if Bailey Sarian had come to Denver and died because of some location, all these people would be going to that location for the clout, taking pictures. I mean, look at what happened with the Cecil Hotel. So I just thought, I was like, okay, what happened? Like this huge podcaster was like a big part of Act 1. They made a big deal out of it, and like nobody came, like it wasn't a big deal in the media, nothing. And then I also felt that way with what's her name? The girl's fiance being killed off at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Like
Milo?
they don't even mourn him. There was no funeral or anything because
they
like
sped through that.
Yeah, I get that like they had to move on to the other kills and more people died, but it felt like that character should have had a funeral. Like we should have kind of had that play out a little bit. And then she like moved on to her ex right away. And then I do like that they acknowledged it at the end when she was like, you killed my fiance. And she's like, which one? It was like, burn.
That was funny. Yeah, this movie had some good one-liners for sure.
Yeah. But again, I was just like, I felt like there were a lot of loose ends and plot holes that I was like, we could have taken some of these out to like tighten the script and make the storytelling a little bit better and have everything come full circle. But then at the same time, I did feel like the delivery from the actors really saved this film, which we'll get into in the next segment. But overall, I also really, really loved how they did mirror the first one. Like you're right, like beat per beat, it felt like they really did a Requel right as far as like how they approached it, because it gave so many of the callbacks and stuff. And I was loving all of that. But then by the ending is kind of where it all fell apart for me, because I felt like this feeling in me where I was like, I should be so hyped right now. Like, this is so cool. A woman is the slasher. But I wasn't feeling it. I was like, this feels kind of forced. Like, and I've never felt that way when it comes to representation or like woman empowerment. But I was just like, I don't know how I feel about a woman being the killer. And then when Freddie Prinze killed her, I was like, that wasn't necessary. And then I can't believe it took me so long to realize what was really happening. And I credit that to my stress that I was just like not all there, But I'm like, the signs were all there, Mandy. Like, he didn't need to kill her. So it was like a fake kill. And then even when Jennifer Love Hewitt like sees it and puts it together, I still was like, what's going on? So, and then once I finally realized, okay, it's Freddie Prinze, I was just like, oh, well, I still don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So I just like, there were such good things about this film that I think are in the next portions of our review. But overall, I just keep feeling like I wasn't as excited about it by the end the way I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. I'm kind of dumb when it comes to like these whodunit movies. Like I could never figure it out for some reason. So I was completely blindsided that it was Stevie and that it was Ray behind the kills. So I'm a little dumb when it comes to that. But yeah, I just didn't feel the satisfaction because during the movie, it was kind of the big red herring was, oh, it's the guy from the church. Like that's the guy from the church is going to be the killer. So I was like, is that going to be the ending? Because that doesn't really make sense. This is too obvious. Like they're obviously pushing that he's the killer, but then I'm like, I guess that makes sense. But then what's the whole point of the movie? Like what's the twist here? So I was completely lost. So when they revealed Stevie as the killer, I was like, wait a minute. Like, there's no way she could do that all alone. Like, she hung up two men by like sharks and displayed them, and she also like chased around people and like pushed them. And then even the physique of the killer was like, that's not her body structure. Like, what is happening here? So
That's what I was thinking too.
I was so confused about the reveals. I'm like, what is happening right now?
As you were saying that, I realized too that maybe like a clue too was the part where Teddy kind of tries to trap the killer and how there's two fishermen guys. I think he thought, I don't know what was happening in that scene. I was like, does he realize, like, does he think those are two like mannequin fishermen? Did he intentionally trap them? Like, I wasn't fully understanding what happened in that scene because it almost seemed like he was trying to set up the fishermen. But now I'm also like, was that a clue that there were two of them? Because there were two fishermen in that scene.
Yeah, what I thought that was, what I thought it was like I don't know, like an exhibit, I guess you can say, where they had kind of like a slicker just set up within that walkway. Yeah. And then the killer was just standing in front of it, kind of like as a, like, I'm hiding in plain sight kind of thing. But yeah, that part was also really confusing. I'm like, wait, are there supposed to be two killers here? Or is like one of them just a mannequin? Like, what is happening here? So yeah, the whole reveal was very confusing in my head because I was just thinking like, what is happening right now? This is not making sense to me. So yeah, the reveal of the killers was kind of a flop to me, unfortunately. But I did want to go back to the podcaster.
Okay. Yes, let's.
Because I know that you were kind of offended, but I thought it was really perfect and funny. Not perfect where what they did with her, but I thought kind of like showing those little wink winks and nudge nudge with the sticker, putting it everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so funny. And just like the way she would talk and the way she would dress, it was like, oh, that's like the typical spooky girl, like typical goth girl, like how they look. But yeah, I really wish they would have pushed that storyline because if they wanted help on trying to find the killer, she is probably an expert on how these killings or other stories like pan out. So I really wish they would have included her kind of within the cast. Maybe killed her off later and not so early in the movie. Because yeah, they just brought her in to make fun of her and then they killed her off right away.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like the way they made fun of her when she was faced in the situation, how you're saying like she's an expert in these situations, like these podcasters who cover true crime, like they are no joke. Like they know all the details, they know how things work. So that's why I was just like, I kind of didn't like that because it kind of discredits how hard they work. And I was also like, and podcasters do not go around with a freaking recorder on location. No. I was like, that was also dumb. So I was just like, I loved it because I was like, okay, that's me with the sticker, like legit the sticker, the merch, like she was pushing her merch. But there were also points where it was like, okay, now you're making a joke of it and not like, I don't know. So yeah, I get it. Like I do understand why it was needed and stuff, but I was a little offended.
Yeah, for sure. Justice for podcasters. Because as you brought Bailey Sarian up, I'm like, there's no way Bailey Sarian would just scream like that. I feel like she would like put up a good fight.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
How I see her. Like a tough girl will fight back. So yeah, I guess I wish they would have handled that a little bit better. But
yeah,
I guess we're kind of getting into the casting and the characters, kind of. So yeah, I really liked the podcaster character. I thought she was funny. But I will say I really liked Danica. Her lines were so funny, and I think you explained it perfectly where you're saying they're not making fun of Gen Z. It's just a Gen Z character that is funny because she was just like, okay, diva. And then it's like, it's giving this and it's giving that. So I really like that they included modern language, I guess you could say. I don't know how else to describe it. But it just felt fresh and relatable because that's just how like friends, when you're hanging out with them, that's how they talk. So I was like, okay, she's kind of annoying, but I kind of like her. But I guess I'll just jump to the end. Freddie Prinze Jr. is the killer. And that's like one of my biggest critiques about this movie is that I just can't believe that Freddie Prinze Jr. is a killer, because I don't know, he just seems like such a good guy. Like in everything I see him in, he's just like the good guy. He's like what you want to be, I don't know, the perfect guy you think of. So when he was revealed to be the killer, I'm like, I don't know, I don't see it.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way. Like, I didn't feel like I didn't believe it. I just didn't like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was, like, not my Shayla moment. Like, I don't want him to be the killer. So I don't know. I feel like I would need to rewatch it. I just was really thrown off by the ending. Like, it was not what I anticipated. And I think for a moment when they revealed him, I was also like, I think that was the point where I was like, that's how you do a requel, because nobody saw it coming. Like,
No,
it was
for
a
sure.
shock. But then now you saying that it wasn't believable, I don't know. Does that mean he doesn't pass the Courtney Cox rule? Basically,
Maybe.
right? Because I was
Yeah.
aware that it was Freddie Prinze the whole time. So,
Yeah, he
oh
just
no.
he just plays the same character, I feel. Except maybe like Star Wars, he's like a voice character only, but I feel like in the 90s he always played the same character.
That's true.
I guess maybe in Scooby-Doo he was kind of like the dumb himbo character. So I don't know. I think I got to see more Freddie Prinze Jr. movies to find out.
This was a shattering glass moment for me to realize that he does not
Really?
pass the Courtney Cox rule. Dang. We can't marry him no more.
Like,
I'm just
sorry.
kidding, Freddie
You're
Prinze.
not
If I
good
ever
enough.
meet you, I love you. Yeah, well, on a more positive note, I really loved the casting. Like, loved it. 10 out of 10. I was fangirling the whole time because it's honestly very hard for me to get into Gen Z actors. Not like anything against them, but it's that like not having familiarity with them, you know? And then
Mhm.
I guess as I get older, like we were saying, they're always teenagers, so it makes it feel even more disconnected for me. So I immediately connected with the cast in this one, which was very unique and refreshing for me. And I loved what they did with Teddy's character because he's basically like the Ryan Phillippe of this movie.
Yeah.
And I hated his character. Like, when I rewatched the original, I was like, how was this okay? Like, he was so mean the way he talked to all of them, even Freddie Prinze. And I was even like, and why did Freddie Prinze let this happen? Like, what is going on in this film? So I love that they evolved Teddy into this very likable version, and I felt like Teddy's lines were the ones that were always those funny ones, like the Nicole Kidman, the Scooby-Doo thing, and I think those were the things that made him likable, and like it makes sense why the group forgives all his flaws, you know, and he was very aware of the fact that he was like a Nepo baby kind of and stuff, so I really liked his character. Honestly, surprisingly, Danica was my least favorite character.
Really?
I felt like she was not a very good actress. So especially the scene where she was like coming down the stairs and she was like, "Babe, thanks so much. I was like, girl, are you like running through your lines right now?"
Yeah, I guess I could
So-
agree with that. Her acting was pretty bad in some scenes.
Yeah, so I think hers was the only one I was a little disappointed with, and I'm still processing the fact that Ava was not Camila Mendes. This whole time I was like, we had a Latina final girl, and she's not Camila Mendes. I'm still so
You
shocked.
just created this whole narrative in your head about this poor girl.
Yes. I'm just like, I don't know, but she was likable. I really liked her.
Yeah.
And her character, okay, getting back, I'm glad we have notes for this reason because I would have totally blanked. I really loved her character and like what she was going through. I loved that they used storytelling to showcase her sexuality and her orientation and her internal feelings because like you said, sometimes they like make it a point to say like, oh, she's bisexual or whatever it is she is. But she is the reason that the podcaster comes into the movie, because they're like hooking up at the beginning, and then like awkwardly the podcaster's like, I need a ride. And then they're like faced with this situation where it's like the podcaster, not Camila Mendes, and her ex-boyfriend. And then later we're at this scene where Ava's trying to hook up with her ex-boyfriend, and there's clearly feelings and they have a past, but she's struggling to get into it because she wants more from him sexually, and then he's not into that. And so I just felt like that really humanized like those kind of details humanize these characters, and put them in like real relatable situations, that I think are what saved this movie, because the characters were so likable. Like, I don't think there were any characters in this film that I wasn't rooting for. Even the podcaster was more like, girl, I wanted you to like be better, you know? So I felt like the storytelling was just done really well with the characters and the acting. And before I get into the OG characters, I'm sorry, I had a lot to say. That's why I was like, I don't know if I hated or loved this film.
Yeah, it's a very confusing movie.
Yeah, so the pastor, I'm gonna do a little like pop girly moment, I guess. So the pastor was an actor from One Tree Hill, and he has aged so much. It was crazy. I did not recognize him at first, but his voice stayed with me. I was like, is that Julian? I was like, that can't be Julian, because it doesn't look like him. So I Googled it like while I got to the theater by myself, by the way. I had the whole theater to myself, so it was fun. So I was like Googling things during the movie, and it was Julian. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like fangirling the whole time, and I was like, I hope that he's not the killer. And thank God he was not. And he had one of the coolest kill scenes, I feel.
He did.
So that was cool for me. But then wrapping up with the OG characters, Jennifer Love Hewitt passes the Courtney Cox test. I was like, I loved how they represented a final girl that was not this PTSD psychotic driven girl like Laurie Strode, or the one from, what movie did we recently see where was it Until Dawn? No, not Until Dawn.
Let me see.
Oh my God, I'm blanking. Final Destination. Where the grandma goes crazy. I really loved how they portrayed like a different type of final girl that does have trauma, but she has like found a way to continue to live her life.
Yeah.
While maintaining all of those things, you know? So I felt like that was really cool. And because of the trailer, I was really worried about this film, like, because they kept using that line. And once you actually are in the movie, she delivered them so well that it wasn't as corny as they made it out to be in the trailer. And I realized at that point, I was like, I think she's a Courtney Cox girly, because I realized like when I watch Jennifer Love Hewitt on Instagram, like she's Jennifer Love Hewitt. But then when I watched the client list, like that was the character she was. And so I was just like, okay, J Love, I kind of love you. And then seeing Freddie Prinze, I was just like, he's so dreamy. And I was thinking of his voice from the podcast. And then Sarah Michelle was just like, she's so pretty. So it was just like throughout the movie, you were getting all of these really nice like Easter eggs. Like I was constantly getting surprises between like, oh, I love the pastor, I love Freddie, I love Julie, I love Sarah. Like it was just like so much nice nostalgia. I was vibing.
Yeah, it for sure was nonstop nostalgia and little Easter eggs here and there to the original film. But yeah, I don't know, just there's something about Jennifer Love Hewitt. I don't know, she just has this weird like aura to her where you just can't hate her. Like she's just so likable for some reason. In this movie and also in the original, like I was just watching the original, I was like, oh, she's just such a nice little girl. Like I just want to be her friend.
She's genuine. Like she seems genuine.
She's just a genuine, cool, down to earth girl. I don't know. She's cool. And yeah, definitely I loved that they brought back the OG characters, and I loved that they did the Sarah Michelle Gellar thing where they didn't kind of like retcon her into bringing her back. I don't know, like, oh, her kill didn't actually happen or something. And they brought her back within like a dream sequence. And yeah, that was really cool. And yeah, that whole time I was like, oh, wow, she's like actually really pretty.
Yeah,
Like I
I was
forgot. I haven't
shocked.
seen her in so long, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, she's really pretty.
Yeah, Freddie really scored.
I know. Dang. Okay, so let's get into the kills and the scares. So some of the kills were kind of brutal, even though we didn't really see some of them, but some of them were pretty cool. But one thing I did want to bring up is that in the original film, I feel like he only used a hook to kill everybody. Is that true? Do you remember anything else that he used?
No, I think you're right.
Like it
That's
was
all
just a
I'm
hook.
remembering.
But yeah, this time I feel like he had more like fisherman style weapons that he was able to use. So when he killed the second fiance, he used a harpoon gun, and that was crazy. Like just the shots going through his chest, that was really cool to see. And then the cage, when he cages, who was it? Was Ava. When he cages Ava, well, he kills the podcaster. We're trying to kill the podcaster. They dropped like a cage on her, like a fish cage, or I don't know what it was, and she was just trapped in there for a really long time. And the last thing I liked, or the scares, was when he kills the mayor and the cop, or the mayor and somebody, or the son, Teddy. When they kill Teddy and his dad, they display his body like on the pier, like the Jaws shark. I was like, oh my god, why is Jaws still haunting me? Like, leave me alone. But I really like that scene. That was a really cool, like, fisherman style display of their kill, where it kind of like hooked out and his leg was out to the side and the mouth was like kind of open. So I really liked that they kind of like paid attention to those details and kind of went back to the drawing board and were like, okay, how would a fisherman kill people? Like, what kind of weapons would he use to torture his victims and all that? One more thing I want to bring up is I feel like in the original film, I feel like he was trying to torture more in a way. I don't know if you got like picked up on that, where he was trying to like kill people around her or kind of scare
Yes,
her more.
I remember that.
And this one was just like, I'm going to kill everybody. So I thought that was really interesting how they kind of like differed in that aspect, but were so similar in other aspects.
Yeah, that's interesting. Honestly, as you were talking, I realized that it kind of makes sense that they used more fisherman type things. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
it called?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because of Ray, which is Freddie Prinze, has that experience. Like he was a fisherman for a long time. So now that's kind of like being pieced together for me. I also felt like this movie should have been 3D, like that old school 3D,
Yes.
because they kept showing like the hook. So I was like, this would have looked really cool in 3D because they did an emphasis on all of the weapons that way a lot, I felt. So that's a cool direction thing that I totally missed out on earlier. But something that I thought too was like, I don't think the first one was as performative. Like they didn't display the bodies that way. Like this one was very focused on like posing the bodies and like making a statement, which also makes sense now. Oh my god, it's coming together because he's trying to make it popular again. Oh my god, maybe it is a good film.
I know. Now that we're talking about, like, wait, did I actually really like this movie?
Yeah,
but yeah, it makes sense because the whole thing of the movie was that they tried to cover up what happened in 1997. Like they're trying to say it never happened. You know, we're a booming town, and then Ray is like, no, we're not. I'm going to display all these dead bodies everywhere so everybody can see the real darkness of this town.
Oh my gosh. And also he was the red herring in the first film. They were convinced it was him. This is so crazy. Oh, I'm like getting chills right now. This is such a fun episode. And then the other thing I was gonna say too is I just really did love how he displayed them. Like we talked about this, but the pastor, the way I was so convinced he was gonna be holding a hook because they show him from like his silhouette from behind and his hands are up in like a prayer position, but before they reveal that, they're like, put your hands down or whatever. And I was like, is he gonna be holding a hook? Like that is so corny. And then they reveal it and it's like the coolest positioning ever. They have him like in a prayer pose and his like were his eyes bleeding? Like he was all bloody.
Yeah, his face was messed up.
So that was really cool. And in general, though, I did feel like they didn't show the kill scenes, but they focused a lot on revealing
Yes,
the
the
kills
reveals.
and how they're posed. So that was cool. And then the last note I have is that I thought it was really cool that they mirrored the deaths with some of them. So like Teddy was Ryan Phillippe, and in the first one, Ryan Phillippe gets the like "you're next" while he's like in the locker room,
Yeah.
and then Teddy got it while he was like in the
In
sauna.
the
So I was like,
sauna,
I
yeah.
love this. Like I love how clever they were of remaking it, but with a new story.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Those are like my favorite things, the little callbacks here and there. I think that's really what's making me like this movie a lot more, was just the little nods to the original film.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, so let's get into practical effects and CGI. Again, they didn't show a lot of kills on camera, so there wasn't a ton of CGI. Maybe the one CGI thing I can think of right now is when he kills the dad or the mayor, and you see the hook kind of like go in from one end and like sticks out the other. I don't know if you remember that scene.
I don't think that was CGI.
Oh, I think that's practical effects?
I think that was practical because if you notice, that one stuck out to me. That was actually one of my favorite kills. Because they kind of they start where it like comes through,
Yeah.
and then they cut to where it's like being like it's getting longer. I was so proud of myself because I noticed that. So I think they shot to where like they put it here, they cut, and then switched to a shot where it was already getting like going out further. That looked like a practical effect to me. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, Rudy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've said before, I'm so bad at identifying what's practical and what's CGI. But that's like one of the only kills I feel like that we saw in action, I think.
Yes. I felt that way too.
But the CGI with Helen Shivers, like you said, they did a lot of like lighting effects to make like smooth out her face and make her look younger. But then they turned her into like a zombie. Like she starts deteriorating and her face starts like turning into like a zombie. Her flesh was like falling off like a corpse kind of effect. And that did look kind of cheesy. I feel like they didn't need to do that. I think they could have just left her as Helen Shivers, and I think that would have been good enough for me.
I loved that scene.
Did you?
Yes. As my filmmaker brain, my hat was on because I loved how it started off with like her crown was bleeding. And I was in my head, I was like, oh my God, how did they rig that? Because like we've been working on practical effects. And I was like, that's so cool. They probably like made the crown and then had all the little pumps inside of it and then released it. I was like, that is so cool. That would be such a cool Halloween costume. And then it just got better with like the deteriorate. I thought it was really cool. Like I know it was CGI, but I was like, that would be such a cool costume, like a legit dead prom queen or like pageant queen, whatever she was, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, I was fangirling.
No, yeah. And I guess you're right. The practical effect of the crown bleeding, that was a cool idea. And now it just reminded me of the Scream mask of where you would like have a heart and you would like squeeze it and the blood would just like rush through the Scream mask. So maybe that's something that he used, like a little heart pump, and just the blood started dripping from her crown. I don't know why
that's literally how you do it. There's like a little pump and you activate it.
That's exactly what I thought of. So I'm glad I got something right.
Yes.
So I think that's all I have for practical effects and CGI. Did you have anything else?
That's all I had.
Alrighty, so let's get into the themes and symbolism. So I think the biggest thing here is just not dealing with your trauma. I'm not sure if this is a direct quote from the movie or I'm just making it up, but it says, not dealing with your past trauma would lead to the trauma dealing with you. Is that from the movie? I don't remember. But I thought it was, I don't know, it stuck with me for some reason. But I think Ray and Julie showed two different examples of how people deal with their trauma. So one let it consume them. So Ray let it consume him and he just like was dreading about his past or just did not deal with it correctly. And Julie's character kind of used that energy to help other people. I believe she turned into like a professor or something. So she kind of used it to help other people. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like that ending for them too. So I don't know. I'm still processing that part.
Yeah, I was really bummed about how they were like hateful towards each other. But
Yeah.
it kind of, okay, another layer. It makes sense because she was moving on and he wasn't. So I can
Yeah,
see how that ended the marriage,
true.
basically.
He
Dang.
was so stuck in the
Also,
past.
to counter your point about the whole like having to say things too often, I thought that they like slowly dripped that line throughout, like that storyline,
Yeah.
because initially like they let you figure out that they were married and that it didn't work out and that they like don't like each other now. So I thought that that part was done well.
For sure, yeah. I can agree with that. They just definitely didn't do so much exposition where they're like, oh yes, we were married once, but then we got divorced because of this and this. It was dripped out throughout the story. You're like, oh, okay, they were married, they broke up because something happened, and you kind of like slowly kind of like right now figuring out
Yeah.
that's why they were divorced.
Breadcrumbs.
Yeah, they left us little breadcrumbs. But yeah, that's all I have for themes and symbolisms.
I am shocked because I did not put that together. That is so deep, but it makes sense. And now I'm thinking, did they say this in the movie? Did they say men really need therapy?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that part really stuck out to me, but especially because therapy has slowly become normalized because of Gen Z, I feel. So I feel like that was a really nice little like, okay, that was cool because it's true, like older generations kind of didn't go to therapy as much as they should. But my biggest takeaway was I kept thinking about your Ghostface recap that you did when you first started as Rabbit Loves Horror and you opened with I'm never answering the phone again or something like that. And I kept thinking like, why do you guys keep telling the killer everything in your texts and voicemails? Because, and it starts with that's why Teddy gets that note in the sauna, because right before he goes in, he calls his friend who's missing and is
Yeah.
like, I'm hitting up the gym.
Leaves a
And that's why he
voicemail.
knows. And then they do it again when they're going to the boat. So I'm like, okay, the moral of this is when there is a killer on the loose, do not put any information in text message or voicemails.
No. Yeah, only voice calls, no text, no voice to text, because you don't know who's gonna read it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into our final wrap up with this. So it ends with a mid-end credit scene with Julie showing up at Brandy's house to ask for help for some reason, and that's from the second movie. So Brandy is in the second movie of I Know What You Did Last Summer in the 90s. I'm not sure if it was the 90s or early 2000s. But anyways, Julie shows up and she's like, hey, I need help. Are you ready to go or something? I forget the exact lines. Or she's like, are you ready to kick some ass or something? So I thought that was kind of weird because what do they need to team up for? So I'm wondering if something happened between the end of the movie and her going to the house, because we already know that Stevie's still alive. So why does she need help? Like, wouldn't she have like the police help because they know who it is and they'll be able to band together and get her? There's not like a mystery to that. So I'm very curious to see why she showed up at the house and is asking for help. So maybe the sequel will kind of dive deeper into that.
So, two things. I didn't see it.
You left.
I didn't see the end credit scene.
Oh, that's funny.
Secondly, it kind of disappoints me that there's another one coming because I felt like this was enough. Genuinely, like I think it was done very well for a requel. So now I'm kind of like concerned, especially because I don't think Brandy is a good actress.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so either.
So now I'm feeling very conflicted. That's interesting. But this did remind me that I did also like that they did acknowledge the second movie, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, when Freddie Prinze is like, someone says, we should just go away to an island. And he's like, that is a very bad reason for reasons I'm not going to get into. And I was like, oh, I love how self-aware the movie was. And like, it was just like, those moments were sprinkled enough to where it did not ruin the movie. So I thought that was funny. My wrap-up notes are I feel like we might need to incorporate this section is just like set design, location, all of those things. I think that was really cool in this movie because I don't feel like often when you get sequels, requels, all those things, they don't use the amount of same set pieces and locations as the original movie did. And this one had it the whole movie. Like it was so exciting, never knowing like which scene or like which location you were gonna see again, which prop. Like they reused the like parade float from the first movie for Helen Shivers. So I really love that. Like I just feel like the person, sorry, I don't remember her name, but the director must have really, really loved the original film because it definitely felt like a love letter to the original. So I'm gonna need to research her and see her talk about the film because I can just imagine she probably like fangirls over it. So I thought that that was really cool. And then the last thing was that Stevie was wearing a raised bar hat towards the end. And I really want it. I really want to find it. I don't know if they're selling merch, but if they're not, they should be selling that hat. Because that's like such a cool little like Easter egg that only like horror fans are going to get if they see you wearing it, you know? So I really want one. And I had one last thing and I totally forgot what it was. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say was that Stevie was wearing the same outfit that Jennifer Love Hewitt wears in the first movie. At the end, she's wearing the overalls with the white t-shirt. And I was like, oh, that's from the first movie too.
Interesting. I did not pick up on that. Now that you brought that up, I don't know if you picked up on, but Ava, I guess like the main final girl, was wearing green the whole movie. And,
oh, I did not catch that.
And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I feel like Helen Shivers also was wearing green. So that was kind of like a little nod also of her like, oh, this is our final girl, but not really. But one more thing. I hated the outfit that she chose. Do you remember at the beginning she was like changing outfits for she was going to see her ex, and she was trying all these different like skirts and shirts, and then she put on the green outfit, and I'm like, oh, you're going to change from this, right? Like this is not the outfit you're going to go out in. And then she just goes out in that outfit. I'm like, this outfit is ugly. Like, what are you doing?
I don't remember it.
But it was green, and it just stuck out to me. And then I saw the original, I was like, oh wait, I think green is just like a theme, so she just tried to incorporate that into the movie. And I think she wore green a lot throughout the movie too, I think, if I'm not remembering.
Oh man, I don't remember it from the first or the new one. That's crazy. But yeah, also, sorry, going back to the overalls, I just realized too, so like when I noticed it, I'm like 99% sure it's what she's wearing when she wears the slicker. So I'm like, that was another clue of like hinting that someone from the past is involved in it, but it wasn't Julie, it was Ray. So
yeah,
I'm like mind blown right now. So many surprises.
One more thing. Do you remember when the podcaster got killed?
Yes.
And she does the reveal, like she takes off his mask and she's like, it's you. So I feel like that should have been a sign to everybody. And I did not pick up on that. I saw this on a TikTok. And the guy was like, you just spoiled the movie because only she would know, or only she would recognize the original characters. So when they kind of like said, or the podcaster said, oh, it's you, that was a sign saying, oh, it's one of the original cast members. And I didn't pick up on that.
I did not pick up on that either.
But yeah. So many things to think about.
I'm impressed. Wow. Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up. And it's officially time for It's Freaking Bats. All right. I'm so glad I'm the one who asks this question first.
I hate it sometimes.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how many bats would you rate this film, Rabbit?
Oh
I'm nervous too.
Okay. Oh God. This is just going to contradict everything I've said before, but I'm just going to say it. I don't even know if I believe it myself. I've already had a couple days to like process this, and I haven't fully come up with a conclusion. Oh my gosh. Because let me talk through my thought process. When I first saw the movie, I was like, okay, this is a 2-star or 2 bats for me. But then my rule is, if I like a movie, it's just three bats because I liked it. So it deserves 3 bats. But I just can't decide. So I'm like, am I in between a 2 and a 3? Maybe can we do like points, 5s?
We do. I think we've done that before.
I think I'm going to give it a 2.5 bats because I did like it. But like I said before, I probably won't rewatch it. But then after we talked about it, I'm like, wait, do I want to rewatch it now? Just to pick up on all these like little cues that are little Easter eggs that they left for us. So I don't know. I'm still very conflicted exactly how we started this podcast. I'm still conflicted about this movie. I don't know if I liked it or not. But I think I'm leaning towards more I did like it. But for now, 2.5 bats for me. What about you?
Dang. Okay. For a second, I thought you were going to go for the 3.5, but you went the opposite
Really?
direction. So I was surprised. I don't know either. I feel like I have to watch it one more time to decide. But for now, being the girl that loves vibes, I think I'm going to go with a 4. I was going to give it a 3.
Really? Oh my.
Yes. And I don't know. You're making me rethink it.
That's
okay.
so high.
I know. It's because, look, listen, Linda. Okay, so first I was like, it's a 3 because I'm so conflicted of whether I don't whether I don't like it or if I love it. But then the more we talked about it, the more I realized that it was justified in why Ray was the killer and how well that storyline was done. So just because I didn't like it, like that I didn't like the ending, doesn't mean that it wasn't a good ending. And it was a surprising ending. Like, we missed all the cues on it.
I know.
And I loved the nostalgia in this, and I loved the characters. So really, why am I not giving it a 4? I don't know.
Right? It was like, okay, I like this, and this, and it deserves this rating, but I don't know. I guess
Like,
this one is one where it deserves a rewatch.
Yeah, and the only thing that I didn't like was the podcaster thing, and that's because I was personally offended by it. Objectively, it was funny. So, yeah, a 4 it is. I think I'm sticking to the 4 in a very strange turn of events.
Yes, for sure. I thought you were going to hate this movie, honestly, because
I
you
did
hated
too.
the first one. So I was
I
like, oh, she's going to hate
know.
this because it's pretty much the same movie, just with like tweaks here and there. But I guess those tweaks really like fine-tuned it for you.
Yes, I think it's because the first one is just so, like, once you've seen it once, there's really no, like, the kills aren't iconic. Like, to me, they weren't, like, exciting. So it's kind of like, meh. And I also really hated Ryan Phillippe. They kill Helen Shivers off so soon in it. Like, it was just like, I don't know. I was just really surprised. And from a Requel perspective, like, it was done with so much love. So I don't know. I'm going to shut up now. But I think I want to watch it again. I went to go see it alone because Mr. Spooks couldn't make it. And now I'm kind of like, I think we need to go watch it together so we could get a third perspective.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Okay, before we part ways for the week, let's have a little moment of Be Kind, Rewind. We're all about the vibes here, so if this film hit just right, here are a few spooky picks you can rewind to match the mood, the madness, or the mayhem. What's your pick, Rabbit?
So I kind of spoiled my pick earlier, and I'm just going to say Scream 5. It kind of had that same vibe to it, where it was a sequel, but then also a reboot, and it just was very similar. And obviously I love Scream more, so I definitely think Scream 5 is way better than this movie. But I do like that it mimicked it, and it still kept its roots, I guess you can say, of the original film, but made like tweaks here and there and just came up with this fun movie. So Scream 5.
That was what I was going to say.
Really?
But in general, honestly, I don't think that there is a film like this one that has really nailed the nostalgia like this. Like, it was just done really well. If anything, it actually made me want to go watch Scooby-Doo again because of the mention of it and then, like, the nostalgia of it. So I think That's how I'm gonna get cozy and relax this evening.
You're gonna watch Scooby-Doo?
I
Oh my
think
gosh,
I
how fun.
might. I think I'm gonna do it.
That sounds fun. For some reason, I've been wanting to really watch Scooby-Doo. The one where they go to the island. I don't know if that's the second one or not.
I don't even remember them.
But yeah, like just the imagery of the monsters, or like, yeah, the monsters in the movie. I'm like, I really want to rewatch Scooby-Doo. So
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous.
Maybe we should do an episode. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, Ghosters. We hope you had a bloody good time hanging out with us and helping us figure out whether or not this movie was good. We actually scheduled next week's movie without even knowing what a great lead it was going to be into next week's. So next week we're watching Scream, and we'll see you here next Monday with our freshly popped horror review and perhaps a nice little Courtney Cox surprise.
Oh yeah, stay tuned for next week. I might look a little bit different. But remember, keep horror alive and watch something spooky this weekend.
Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses. Bye.
Bye.